Hello.
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 Welcome to Two Tangled Skeins. I have to remember to look at the camera.
Not the screen.
Yes.
Hello.
You can't
Hello.
even see the screen.
I'm Sue, also known as Crafty Knitter 7. Today we are Saturday, May 20th. This is episode 160, and I would like to welcome any new and returning viewers.
Welcome.
I'm Lynn, also known as Toll Baby. You can find us on our blog at twotangledskeins.com, on YouTube, and on Facebook.
And I am Selma123, and you can find us all on Instagram and also on Ravelry. We have a group, so come in, join our cows, join our conversation and fun.
And the insanity. And we're also on Twitter, but really,
It just tells you that the episode's up.
it literally, it updates when we have an episode.
I'm surprised Twitter's still around.
Yeah.
I am amazed at how many people use it, because quite frankly,
Yeah,
I
I
signed
don't-
up for an account about a year ago, and I think I've tweeted maybe twice.
I have an account, but I don't use it, and then the podcast has an account. But
I don't have time for Twitter.
No.
I think we have enough social media.
Well, it's a lot of pressure to boil down what you want to say to 140 characters, and I don't have time for that.
I want to say it all the characters.
I want to be long-winded.
Well, I think it's just human nature for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, most of us, right? Takes a while to be that succinct. Hello, everybody. So this is a knitting show, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, from what they say.
Selma has a photo.
I thought you had a faux like your square.
I told you I didn't finish it.
Oh, you didn't finish. Sorry.
I told her that when I walked in here.
Yes, but I thought you were talking about your socks.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about your socks as
No,
well.
the blanket square that I said was a faux. I thought I was going to finish when I got home from knit night last night, but when I got home from knit night last night, I had like zero motivation to knit and just sat there staring at Castle for a few hours. Because he's so pretty.
Castle's your cat?
No,
No,
Castle is
the
the
show.
TV show with
Oh.
Nathan Fillion in it.
Captain
Oh,
Tight
because
Pants.
he's so pretty.
Yes. His character's name is Castle.
I just assumed it was a cat.
Nope.
That would be weird.
Well, I could stare at a cat for many, many hours. It'd be so cute. Anyway, all right. So we're starting with bows.
Yes.
All right. I'm wearing one.
It's one of my favorites. I love that one.
I love this sweater. I've worn it a lot. I brought out my, if you're on Instagram, you noticed I posted a few pictures this week because summer knits came out, and I put all my winter knits away, trusting that the weather was going to be nice because it's been really weird. It's been very up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took out all my summer knits, and there's a lot of gray in there.
I was going to say, it's the gray.
Yeah. Well, not that much gray, but there is some gray.
You are
for
a
sure.
fan.
But I haven't knit with gray in quite a long time. I kind of got bored with it or whatever, and then I realized there's a lot of gray here. And then I was at work and I had my Wildesmere shawl on, and I'm like, this is a lot of gray. So anyway, I'm wearing a sweater by Kim Hargreaves, which comes from, I don't know if you know her, she's a British designer, and she puts out these books, and they all have names like Whisper and Precious and Bloom, and they're all one-word titles. And this is from the Whisper book. And actually my sweater ended up looking a lot like the sweater in the book.
Which is always a plus.
Oh, yes, that's my fail sweater.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's the original. I believe I modified it slightly. I made the shoulders a little bit less because you can
As
see
she
that
does.
there's a strap loose, and I don't actually like that look, but with this sweater you really can't help it. But I really didn't want it to be quite that
Off the shoulder.
off the shoulders.
Yeah.
And then also, I believe it was knit straight, and I knit it slightly narrow at the bottom and increased up a little bit because I didn't want it to be too loose. You actually had to cast on, I had to go down a few sizes because you had to cast on a lot of stitches. And I didn't want it
it's
to
got
be
quite a bit of positive ease.
a lot of
designed
positive
into
ease
it.
and a little bit more than I
And
really
you're a little
wanted.
more fitted person.
It's a little bit more fitted, but it's still a loose sweater, and I wear it a lot. I made it out of, was it Katia bamboo?
It stood up very nicely. It looks like bamboo yarn.
Yeah, it has stood up very, very nicely because I made this, about 3 years ago, I think.
Well, we were still in the other building,
Yeah.
So, and
I'm going to fondle you now because it looks very soft.
yeah,
It is.
it's soft. It's worn very well. It's frayed just a teeny weeny bit here because I often wear it with this one necklace that has a leather strap and it rubs against it.
But other than that, there's very little
other
pilling.
than that, there really is practically none. Yeah, no, it's held up really well. I have no recollection what needles I used. 3 point something, I would imagine 3.5 or
Go look at her project
3.75
Maybe
or
you'll
something
get
like
lucky.
that. And yeah, so summer knits are out, and that's what I'll be wearing from now on. Anything else to say about this? Did I mention it all?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah, her books are wonderful. They're not cheap, but they're beautiful.
Her designs are amazing. I love that
I
one.
love this one. I think if I had a better waistline, I would make this one in a flash. I love that one. And this one is particularly full of slinky.
I think it would look fantastic on you, regardless of what you think of your
Is
waistline.
that the book that has...
Thank you. Vote of confidence here.
Is that the book that has that white cabled sweater that we awed over?
The sort of cover-up one? Yes. No, not that one. That one.
Oh, okay. You guys like that one? See, I find this one's a little bit too big and loose, but it is beautiful. There are a lot of really nice things in this
to
one.
me, that looks like a perfect bathrobe.
It is.
That's what it made me think of.
And there's this little tiny
I'm not
little
stylish
cardigan.
enough to wear that out.
Cardigan. Anyway, I really like this one a lot. There are a couple of other. I might make this sweater
that one too.
less short. I might make it just a little longer, but I've always loved that. There's something really. Is there something kind of 1980s
I like
or
the
90s?
drop stitch
There's something
thing.
90s about that.
But the one just before that white poncho thing.
Oh, this one?
That is beautiful.
Yeah, that's crocheted.
There's a black one and a white one. They're the same thing.
Yeah. So, anyway, she's got some great books. Sometimes, this one's, oh, look at this coat. Check that out.
I think I want to be Kim Hargreaves when I
Oh.
grow up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most of the time I just want to be Selma when I grow up.
Oh, please, you're very kind.
That's pretty.
That's a beautiful Actually, Martha was going to make this one because it's a crocheted jacket. Very, very classy kind of Chanel. Really nice. So anyway, I really love this one. I've got about 4 of her books because even though they're expensive, I find it hard to resist them. So there you go. Sometimes I don't love the instructions, I'll be honest. Most of the sweaters are pieced.
Oh, and you do not like
there's
those.
No,
seaming.
so this was converted into the round. That's another modification I made.
I did that too when I started.
Yeah, so, and one thing I really don't like is, but it doesn't stop me from buying her books, is that they're not charted at all.
No, and it's
And
very
the
1980s magazine style
and
pattern layout.
The patterns, like this was the jacket, and it's full of cables. And all the patterns are embedded, like all the stitches are embedded in the pattern instructions. So in order to, like if you wanted to swatch just with the stitches, you have to go in and kind of decipher it all through the pattern. And that's one, I find one rather annoying detail. But as I said, it still doesn't stop me from buying the book. I just work around it and figure it out. But probably not great for an absolute beginner sweater maker, but if you've got a little bit of experience, they're really wonderful. So that's one info, sorry. And then yesterday, Sue and I were knitting at lunchtime outside in the sun, and I finished my other one that was in my wonderful bag, if I may say so.
That is really cute.
I love this bag.
It reminds me of the CBC logo, actually.
You're right. CBC in black and white. I finished the oscilloscope. This was the shawl that I had my aunt start for me when she was visiting from Finland because I just couldn't get the darn thing started. And this is what it looks like. I hope you can see that. But it's okay if you don't because you'll see mine.
You'll see
I
the
haven't
finished
had a
one.
chance to block it yet because, as I said, I finished it yesterday, and last night I ended up spending the evening, my Friday evening at Costco, and picking my daughter up and whatever. So, but it's going to be...
That's beautiful.
It's just a wonderful,
I like that one.
simple shawl, and I really wanted it in olive green, which is what I think the original one was in somehow. I saw it on Ravelry or somewhere.
Sorry, don't move.
Yeah, and this is
Alright.
this is knit in Malabrigo Arroyo in the Chircas colorway. So this is their kind of olive green colorway.
It's so soft.
It is. It's a superwash merino, and I really wanted this for the fall. I want to be able to wear it with my leather jacket, you know, kind of as this type of thing in the fall, or on the side with my leather jacket to keep myself a little bit warm. So that's
Don't forget to take your progress keeper out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the last time I was here, I was there. And then I knit all the way across. And then all the way. One great thing about this pattern is that you never, in fact, the pattern, you're only supposed to have a maximum of 85 stitches when you get to the halfway point, and then you start decreasing. I did a few more extra repeats. I think I did 2 or 3 extra repeats because I was using a lighter weight yarn and I wanted it to be quite sizable.
I never want to cast it on.
It's an awesome pattern. Well written. It's just that the beginning is just, maybe I just didn't have the concentration for it, but definitely.
That one's going on my list.
I really like it. I'd make it again. Honestly, I would. And the progress keeper that I had on there was one that my friend Dana gave me. Thank you, Dana! So, there you go. It's done.
So
I don't know what size needles I used.
Oh, that's nifty.
I used these size. Really ordinary
like an 8.
arrows. I think they were a size 5, eh? 5 or 5.5.
5 millimeter, which is the US 8.
But because I wasn't using worsted weight yarn, I think I might have gone down a tiny bit. But anyway.
That looks like an 8, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's great.
Well, it's not like we don't have needle gauges and we can't check.
I could, but whatever. If you don't, hope you don't mind. I'll check it later, and I'll post it in our project page. No, I hadn't put it in my project page, but I usually keep those things up to date, so I'll put it in there. So anyway, highly recommend the pattern. Love the yarn. I made a sweater out of this as well, and it's a wonderful yarn to work with.
Did you mention the designer?
Oh, thank you. I forgot that detail. That's an important one.
Yes.
I believe it was Kate Gagnon Osborne. That's who it is.
In the show notes.
Yeah, it's in the show notes as well. So
it's super pretty.
Yeah, and this came out.
I have a yarn. I have a blue yarn
it's
like
from
that.
2010, so it's a 6-year-old pattern.
I have a blue yarn like that.
Yeah, it's supposed to take about 400 yards, I believe, of worsted weight. Yeah, 400 yards of worsted weight. I used 600 yards of the Arroyo. I used just about 2 skeins. There are little bits left. There's this much left from one skein and a little bit less than that from the other one.
Oh, well done.
So for my version that's slightly bigger, I used 600 yards. And I haven't blocked it out yet, and it's already still
ginormous.
Yeah, it's already a good size, so it's going to be a really good big shawl.
It's going to be very cozy.
Yeah, really, really like it. So that's my other FO.
No faux here.
Yeah.
I don't consider blanket squares foes. Sad.
So there we go. So if there are no other foes, have we got some whips?
We do.
What you working on, Sue?
I'm still working on
Since
my
I'm thinking.
budding. Sorry. I can't even think of the name of the shawl right now.
Budding Bluebells.
Bluebells.
By
Sorry.
Mina Phillip.
By Mina Phillip. And I'm lucky I just finished a row. And I'm like, I need to finish the row before Selma stops talking.
Oh, man.
You forget where you were? Or?
No, I didn't do one corner properly on this.
That's the Budding Bluebell shawl by Mina Phillip.
I hope this doesn't become a habit that every time I'm on the podcast I realize I've made a mistake.
And so
I just missed 2 decreases if it makes you feel better.
Where the marker is where I was, if I can stretch this out properly, was where I was last week. So I don't know, 10, 15 rows, maybe?
That's beautiful.
But I've had to rip back entire section. Mistake. And so instead of just ripping back a few, because there's a count at every end of every section, she has a count, and my count was off, so. But this is knit out of Hue Loco yarn, which is was the yarn that Mina used in the shawl, and I picked the same colors. So that's the yarn in the skein.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
How's it coming around? Because it's really tealy, purpley, totally Mina's colors.
Yeah.
If anybody watches, or I'm sure most of you do, she's a lover of green and purple together.
Yeah, and so I have the green for the edge, and this is knit on 4mm, which I had to go and buy new needles because they weren't, what I was using wasn't sharp enough to get, I needed a sharp needle, let's just say that. And, yeah, so I would have been further along had I not had to rip back many times. And I'm hoping when I count this, because I'm at the end of the section, that I have the right number of stitches, because if I don't, I'm going to freak out. That's all I'm going to say. And that is living well. The yarn is in my Yarn It, but the bag I am using is from Little Pockets on Etsy. It's a bag I got
love that bag.
way back when we first started podcasting, so it's been around for almost 4 years.
It's nice quality, sort of almost canvasy like.
It
fabric.
is, yeah. The other thing I'm knitting on is my blanket. I got 2 squares done, so I got this colorful one here and this yellow one. Those are both yarns from Sarah. So I'm on to the next color.
I haven't broken into my Sarah minis yet.
Well, the Sarah minis were awesome, Sarah.
They went into my bag right away. And
I believe there's some Desert Vista dye works in there.
There might be.
Is that what that
Pretty
one
sure
is?
that's what this one is, at least.
Okay.
But what was great was they were already in balls. So I was just like, oh, perfect. I can just
I put
start
them
on these right away.
Exactly what I did. And this is the Knitted Patchwork Blanket by Martine Ellis. And it is on 2.25mm, which is a US one. So I was trying to get a square a day done. Didn't work.
And what bag does that live in?
Oh, that lives in a Mina bag.
Mina, you're getting mentioned a lot today.
Yep. This is in my Mina bag.
I don't think there's an episode when we don't mention you.
Well,
No, probably not. There's
In some form.
Yeah.
We're always knitting something or using something of yours.
Yep. So that's it. That's, I haven't touched anything else.
My turn?
It is
Go
your
for it.
turn.
Okay. Sorry, I'm mid-row here.
Well,
See.
I'll just tell you all that we are recording a little earlier today because of stuff. And so I'm actually still drinking my
your
breakfast, which is a smoothie. Just in case you're wondering what this dark, can you even see sludgy looking stuff in there?
I was going to say, I was looking at the edges going, that is not coffee.
No, it's a berry, orange, pineapple smoothie with hemp hearts.
Well.
And flax meal.
Alright. So this was supposed to be a hoe, and I didn't get there. I kind of lost my will to live during the
Oh
toe
my
decreases
goodness.
last night. I was so tired. I was just like, nope, not finishing it. I'm in the middle of the toe decreases, so I could have finished it last night, but I didn't. This is the I'm Sorry About Vermont sock that I'm knitting for Rob. I made myself finish one of his socks before I start the second one of my mustache socks, because otherwise his socks will never get finished. So last week I was here. I just finished the gusset decreases, and so I've knit the foot. And I got frustrated because I started losing track of which rows I was supposed to twist on and which rows I was supposed to slip. Because I used the twist stitches along the edge of the ribbing.
Oh, you're using Teresa's
from
method,
Teresa's rectangular sock pattern. So I was using the twist stitches, and I started losing track of which rows I was supposed to do what on. So I just started twisting on every row, and it didn't. I don't think I'll do that again on monochromatic socks that are really, really dark. Because I can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I can't read my knitting as well on dark yarn. So anyway, this is just a plain 3x2 rib sock based on the sock recipe, A Good and Plain Sock by Stephanie Pearl McPhee. I just want to put P's everywhere today. So I don't generally use sock patterns. I took her Grok the Sock class, and I just knit. So this is just a regular flap heel. I did do my first fish lips kiss heel on my socks, but I figured that Rob would object to that, so he's got a regular heel. And
why would he object to it?
Because he wants his socks to be exactly the same every single time. He's not happy I put the twisted stitches on it.
Really?
Yeah. Last night he was
Rob,
like,
Get over it.
Last night he was like, why did you change something? And I was like, because if I keep knitting the same damn sock over and over and over again, I'm going to want to kill you. Or at the very least, never knit you socks again.
That's right. You're going to stop getting socks.
So he was like, oh, all right, then fine. Yes, he likes his socks to be exactly the same every time. And they're not, because I've used different yarns to make his socks. And you can really see the difference between the first socks I made him, which were Cascade Heritage sock. And the last socks I made him, the second pair of socks I made him, which were Spud and Chloe Fine, which is a much thicker yarn. So those socks are a lot bigger than the other side. You look at them side by side and they're a lot bigger. So now we're back to nice fine yarns, and they're going to be nice and tight. And this is Regia 4-ply in the gray colorway, because they don't have names for these. It's number 44 is the colorway.
But I actually like their standard line. They're really nice colors. They're, like, it's a really nice gray, and they have nice beige
I
and a
actually
nice
have
blue.
3. I've got this gray, which is the light gray, well, the medium gray. I've got another one, which is the dark charcoal gray, and then I've got a black. And they really are nice. I mean, they're not solid colors. They're sort of a heathery type of yarn. There is some tonal aspect to it. Not to the point that some other yarn, but I mean, it's not flat gray.
No.
And it's very nice yarn. I mean, it's not the softest stuff in the world, but it's nice. And it will wear forever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not rough, but it's not soft either. That's sitting in my Yarnix. That's what I'm knitting on right now. And it lives in my beautiful Tulip Festival bag from Mandy Pinecone. And I've also been using her little rainbow polka dotty needle keeper, because you kind of need some colors with this gray. It was my spring Let's Be Colorful project, so I'm knitting it in gray. Excuse me. And that's on size 2.5 millimeter needles, which is a US 1.5. I got a tiny, well, no, I did a lot of work on this, but I was supposed to finish this and I didn't.
I just love that color.
You and my cousin. The rest of us are all looking at it going.
I don't know that I would want it in my bedroom, personally.
It'll stretch quite a bit. I'm sorry, I'm showing you teal against me, who is teal. It will stretch quite a bit, but this is the Sidna Farley square from the Great American Afghan book by Knitters Design Team, which is XRX Books and Knitters Magazine. These books were originally run as contests in Knitters Magazine, and they would post 2 squares per month for a year, and then they would collect the squares into a book. So I have a few of these books. And I actually found another designer on Rav that I'm going to steal some squares from. Well, not steal because they're free patterns, but I'm going to use some squares from. So we'll see.
Are they going to be
the
same size?
Yeah, they should work out to be the same size. So I'm going to start connecting these this week so that I can. I mean, I'm literally on the seed stitch border, so I really could have finished it at some point last night, but I didn't. And
you don't need to be guilty about that.
It's one of my favorite squares because it's just a slip stitch pattern, and it's little hearts. You can't really see them, but there's hearts in the corners.
Yeah, it is lovely.
And my yarn is going all over the place. So that is what I mean. I'm not really enjoying doing the squares this time around, but I gotta get moving because my deadline is fast approaching. She's getting married in October. First week of October.
How many squares do you have done?
5 or 6.
And how many do you need?
At least 25. Ooh. Yeah, well, now that I've recovered my knitting mojo somewhat, I'm gonna start going gangbust. I think once I start connecting them, I'm really gonna want to knit more because I'm gonna want to put them together. I love putting blankets together. That's one of my favorite things to do is connecting blanket squares. So that's my plan for tonight.
And how do you put them together?
Well, I crochet a gray border around each square, and then I just slip stitch them together.
Okay.
On the back side. I could do it on the front because it is pretty, but I don't know how people will feel about the crochet. I might do it on the front.
I think it looks nice.
Just
It makes it very geometric.
Yeah, and it's a nice slip stitch border, so it's a really pretty. I just have to make sure I'm going the same way on all the squares. Because you don't want it going one way on one direction and then going the other way the next square down.
All right, so like the tier of the actual stitch.
Yeah,
got it.
I'll have to make sure that I'm going the same way.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do like one entire row.
Not necessarily.
No.
Because I'll have to do between individual squares for one direction anyway. And then I'm going to be connecting them as I go. So I think I'm just going to go right and up and go from there.
Good idea.
But anyway. And this lives in my beautiful Selma bag. I love this bag. And it's somewhat matchy. It matches the darker teal better. Because it's a lighter... Well, this one's more green than teal, really. But it's lighter green, the darker teal, and then the purple. And, yeah, I'm really glad that I decided to put light gray borders around all of them. Because those colors together...
Did you not put them together? Or you put the borders on them?
I put the borders on all the other ones. As soon as I finished the square, I put the border on.
Yeah, it's going to help it a lot. Because those colors are, interesting.
Well, she picked them.
Yep.
And she loves it so far.
That's what counts.
And
it's not everybody's cup of tea.
It's just a little less... I don't want to say eye-searing because they're really not that bright. But it's a little less pop with the gray around it. It gives it a little bit more subtlety. So I like the gray.
It brings it together.
And I think Peter will appreciate the gray. Because he's had no say in this so far. It's my cousin's fiance. So that's one of the other things I worked on this week. I almost finished it on like Saturday night last week. And then didn't. So I did work hard on it. This one did not see a lot of love. This is my Abigail shawl.
And yet, it is so beautiful.
I love it. I'm really enjoying knitting it.
Mm-hmm.
I just got one more lace pattern and one lace section and one garter section done this week, which is really not a lot. Because last week I'd only gotten the first... Last week I was up to here, so I got the other 1.5 inches done. It's lace sections separated by garter sections, and I got one of each done each week, so this is where I am so far, and it's super pretty.
And the yarn's coming out a little bit more blue.
It's
actually
and it's
really
coming
a
out
smoky
very
gray.
Dark compared to what it actually is.
It's a beautiful, beautiful smoky gray, variegated color by...
This is Bittersweet Woolery, Guilty Pleasures, in the Ash on My Tongue colorway, because we all know that I'm completely addicted to Bittersweet Woolery. Tina, I need more yarn.
Yeah, we both need more yarn.
Yeah.
So,
I liked your hero-based socks, just so you know.
This is the Abigail shawl by Rachel Paulsil, who is Night Owl Fibers, and Little... What is she? Little something 1997? I don't remember now. I'm sorry. I should have written that down.
Suddenly my brain's not remembering it either.
But she is Night Owl Fibers, so go on Etsy, look up Night Owl Fibers, and buy all her stuff, because it's awesome. I would have made this out of her yarn, but I only have stripes. And I was like, nah, no stripes. So it is on size 4mm needles, which is a US 6, and these are my Chow Goos, and I adore them, and I need to buy more, because, best cable ever. Best
I would agree.
Ever.
Wait. See, I like my cables a little more pliable.
This is perfectly pliable. It just doesn't curl on itself.
Exactly.
Which is what I love about it.
Exactly.
We have to agree to disagree, because Sue does not like Chow Goos.
Nope, gave away my Chow Goos.
But you're not the only one who doesn't like them. Other people don't like them, but we are in the...
And I like the metal because I don't have that...
I almost exclusively knit with my carbons now. Almost.
I like carbons, but I don't think I'd want them as circulars. I like them as DPNs.
I love the set.
I'm not a huge fan of the carbons. I find that...
That join?
No, I just find that things don't move along them fast enough.
They don't. They're not very slippy.
So they would be great for a yarn that's really slippy.
See,
that
I
you need
find
to
them
control.
These are really
perfectly slippy once they warm up to your
and
hands.
Pointy.
I'm on the losing end here.
Yep.
No, you're not.
You use whatever needles you like, and we'll use whatever needles we like.
We're all using fantastic needles. I'm not picky, I have to say. You know, if I had carbons, because I did just knit this shawl out of some arrows, right? Like, which are perfectly fine.
Yep.
I'm not.
I use arrows for most things.
I can't say
Because they're cheap.
Particularly.
Most of my needles have been acquired when I've been like, I need a needle that size for this project. Off to Walmart! And that's when I end up with arrows.
Yeah.
Although, I've noticed lately that Walmart doesn't have arrows anymore.
No, they have those
red
colorful
heart.
ones.
And I don't like the red heart needles. So now I have to go further afield for my arrows and go to Wool Time to get them.
Or Yarn Forward.
Yeah.
has
I
them
think
as
it was Zellers used to have the arrows.
Yes.
So I would have to, and Zellers was the closest box store to my house, so I used to go to that one and just pick up arrows. So I've got a lot of arrows. One set of Jokus, apparently. Only one. So I will be buying more, that's for sure. And that is in my beautiful Marvel Superheroes bag by Andrea, who is the cat lady of the Cat Lady podcast. I was using this as a little purse at the grocery store because I was too lazy to... I don't have a purse right now, a small purse. So I was just like, yeah, I'll just shove all my stuff in there and go. The grocery store cashier went nuts over this bag. And I was like, well, it's one of a kind.
And I really like the ribbon that,
yes.
you know, like really American ribbon that goes well with the theme of the bag, right?
It does. And I'm all about the Marvel superheroes, so, and my Captain America's on the back. Yay! Captain America, and I know I've got Wolverine on here somewhere. There's Wolverine. He's my favorite. So I was very happy with this bag, and I love it. And I'm so happy that Sue helped me find it in the trunk of my car. Maybe I need to clean my car out a little more often. And the last thing I was working on was my blanket. I added 7 squares to my blanket. So these 7 squares on the top row, sorry, I'll go this way. This is, well done, Mad Tosh Light in the saffron colorway from Crystal. This one here is, I can't even read it.
It was Opal.
It's Opal Sweet and Spicy, colorway 6755 from Selma. She made a pair of socks in this, I think.
Yeah.
This is also from Selma. It's Mad Tosh Light in Winter Wheat. So I've got 2 Mad Tosh.
Yeah, I made my shine out of that.
And this is gorgeous color. I love this.
The yellow, it's so beautiful. I think I might need to buy more at some point.
This
That was a
one
birthday present from
is
you.
Sundara Sock Yarn in Cranberry Chutney, and it's from Andrea. This is Hedgehog Fibers in Pistachio from Selma. Another pair of socks.
So beautiful.
Really pretty. This is Little Mount Yarn Company in Glitter Sock in the Sanderson Sisters colorway. From Brandy, of course. Because who else would... Well, Sarah might have a colorway called Sanderson Sisters, but Brandy's the other one. It's a reference to the movie Hocus Pocus, which they're both kind of fanatical about.
Kinda.
I finally watched it last year for the first time ever, and I was like, not feeling it. But
nope.
I wasn't the target audience. I would have been the target audience if I'd watched it when it came out 30 years ago. Well, not quite 30 years ago, but anyway.
Yeah,
you know,
well, that's the
what
thing.
back when I was a teenager, I probably would have loved it. But now I'm just kind of like, no.
I've never seen it.
It's not bad. It's just not my taste.
Who's in that movie?
That's the one with Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, no.
It just wasn't to my... I didn't like... For one thing, I didn't realize when it came out, I didn't think that they were evil characters. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, well, that's a letdown.
Because they were evil?
Yeah. But anyway, it is a funny movie. My kids have really enjoyed it, so I would watch it again. I just don't think I would ever get as super fangirl over it as some people do.
Brandy and Sarah.
It's not a bad movie, but it was not my, like, I watched it expecting some big fantastic, you know, because the way they went on about it, and I was just like, it's alright. And I have one last square, which is Knit Picks Tonal, Stroll Tonal, I think, in the Poppy Fields colorway. I don't know why yellow is called Poppy Field. Well, you can get yellow poppies.
It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Well, you can't. There are yellow poppies.
Yeah,
and there are
when you
white
think-
poppies, and
If you
there
think
are...
of a poppy field, you don't think of yellow.
Well, no, but that's the war's fault.
I know.
because the whole Flanders Field thing.
I don't think I've ever seen yellow poppies.
I have seen yellow. I've seen white. I think poppies were more commonly yellow until that point.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a really pretty colorway either way. It's a nice bright cheery yellow.
It is.
With lots of variegation, lots of tonal browns, and it's so pretty. Thank you. That's also from Brandy. So that's my blanket. It is based on the Knitted Patchwork Recipe by Martine Ellis and the Memory Blanket by Georgie Nicholson. And I'm doing my squares on 2.75 millimeter needles, which are US 2. So I basically took the cast on from one square and the decreases from another blanket, and mushed them together. That's the only reason I have 2, and that is living in my beautiful sunflowers bag that Sue made me from fabric I bought at Joann's. I loved it. And as you can tell, this is pretty full of minis too. I maybe have a mini problem.
I think we all have a mini
I
problem.
suspect the whole world has a mini problem.
I may have a mini problem because I can't work on this blanket as fast as I'm acquiring minis.
I need to stop doing swaps. And the thing is, a lot of the swaps you do, if they're not mini swaps, you get minis in them.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Now you know why I don't do swaps.
Minis and tea seem to be the thing.
Oh, the tea.
I got another message from whoever, I can't remember her name now, I'm so sorry, whoever was organizing the podcaster swap. And she was like, I didn't contact you when I contacted Sue and Selma, but I felt really bad because I want you to be invited. I know you say you don't do swaps, but I want you to be invited. And I was like, okay, that's very nice of you.
Spicy homemaker.
Okay,
Yeah.
Spicy homemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I thought that was pretty sweet. I really love that bag.
Did you
that
do
is
your
so pretty.
whips yet?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
She was
I was
going last.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here whipping.
I had nothing to do with that.
I'm actually working on my blanket, or actually my daughter's blanket. I had wanted to get a whole row done. That was my goal last time, if you happen to remember. It didn't happen. I did add 2, so I'll show it to you. But I'm working on the minis that Sarah, the Canadian knitter, sent us, and they're really gorgeous minis. I just finished the yellow, which is like such an awesome yellow. And this one, what is this one? Does anybody know? Did Sarah tell anybody?
But she said she could tell us.
If you could, that'd be great, because it's really beautiful.
As I said, I suspect there's some Desert Vista dye works in there because that's her go-to.
So, and I've never worked with Desert Vista, so I'd like to know if that's Desert Vista. As I said last time, my needle for my blanket is a Prim 3mm.
I love my prims.
My blanket is, for now, in my quince pie bag that I got on Etsy, which I thought was going to be plenty big, but it's
straining.
It's fine for now while the blanket is still a lap blanket. And I've got a bunch of the squares that I've already made, because I tend to make a whole bunch of squares, and then I sort of lay them out and decide which ones are going to go on next. So I'll just show you what I've got. Like, here's what is happening so far. It's getting big, but it's it's still not quite big enough.
Not big enough for a twin-size bed.
No. So last time I was on, this is the row that I'm working on.
I recognize that. That's the Irish girls.
That's right. Oh, somebody's making funny noises. So I have, last time I had this Juliana's Fiber Gradient on here, and this time I've got these 2. And I don't know what they are. I'm afraid I'm not as good as you are at keeping track.
People put labels on stuff. That's the only reason I know what I'm knitting with.
I don't even bother looking at the labels.
I don't remember anymore. It's just gotten... Yeah, it would have been important to start like you and start writing things down.
I'm really obsessively organized. I have a notebook. Jen has a spreadsheet. I have a notebook with everything that I'm putting into my blanket.
Yeah, notebook or spreadsheet.
And sometimes I don't know. And then I have blank spots like this. Because they're old they're old minis from before I started keeping track.
Wow, so how many squares have you got so far?
35 times 2 plus 20.
Wow,
so 90. Yeah.
Cool. So that's...
I can math, really.
I did at least put on 2 squares. I had wanted to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more than that, but I didn't have the greatest well, I worked on a lot of sewing in the last couple of weeks, and I didn't have...
Sorry. I'm just remembering what you said yesterday. I'm not dreaming about knitting anymore.
I'm not. I
She's
dream
dreaming
about
about
sewing.
This is really pretty. Sorry. This will come later.
Yeah.
Super
So, I finished the shawl, but I didn't get a whole lot else done in terms of knitting. So, that's that. But
that's really cool.
my daughter is asking me about it, so I do want to finish it because it's so much fun to make. So I am committed. Maybe by next time the row will be finished and I'll be on to the next row. We'll see.
Maybe.
No
stress.
No, but it is fun. And as you said, the minis keep accumulating.
Well, yeah. Boy, do they, because most of these are from my trip to Chicago.
So, honestly, I finished the oscilloscope yesterday, and then I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I'm knitting on next. Usually, I have it all figured out.
I have suggestions.
So, and then I went to, okay, what had I been wanting to knit on? And so I pulled out, there were some things I want to save for the Canada Cal, because that's going to be starting July 1st. And so I wanted to save some Canadian yarns for that time. And there's a Julie Asselin sweater that I want to make out of a Julie Asselin yarn and some other Canadian yarn.
You made that bag?
I made this bag.
That is gorgeous. Yes, you showed that, but I never really realized how...
I really love this bag.
That is so pretty.
I love this bag.
I need to go to fabric stores with you.
I really love this bag. And I'm going to get more of this gray.
I had not noticed how...
This mauve, they don't have anymore.
Oh, because that's really neat.
The store had tons of fabrics in this pattern in different colors, just not this shade of mauve. They don't have it anymore. But they have it in a kind of a more lilac-y color, so I'll see how it suits fabrics. But I this gray fabric here, I just love it.
Very pretty.
So, so Sue gifted me a pattern that I had in my favorites and that I was planning on making, called Meadow Beauty by Knit-Timo.
That's beautiful.
Very sort of geometric looking. I don't know how well this top picture is going to translate on. I don't know if you can see. It's basically kind of like a lace pattern with X's throughout, and the X's are made out of stockinette stitch. Last year for my birthday, so almost a year ago, I bought myself 2 skeins of orange flower yarn in her Lyra base, which is, you can't touch this. Sorry.
No, you're not.
Not completely.
You should be, but you're not.
So this is orange flower yarns in the Lyra base, which is essentially a alpaca silk linen. I think that's what it is. I can't find the tag.
The stuff I wound for you?
This is the stuff you wound for me.
I'll be over here.
She almost didn't get it back.
Now it's going to be so hard to see the real color on here because it's very, very subtly variegated.
And it's it's luminous.
It is. It comes across as beige, but really there are
so much more than beige.
Pale pinks and some kind of...
There's some bluey greens in there.
It's very, very subtle. And I just, last night, I wasn't quite sure what needle to use because the pattern is actually meant to be knit with 2 strands of lace weight. And I'm using a fingering weight. So I'm doing something slightly different. So I just decided to swatch on 3.5 and 3.75 to see which one I liked more. And so, the pattern is not in stocking yet, but I don't know, can you see any of the subtlety in there? So, anyway, I feel like it just comes across as kind of very blah. But anyway, trust that it's really not blah at all. Her yarns, if you go on her website, her yarn is very much about subtlety, and there's such beautiful yarns. And whenever I would see somebody knitting with orange flower yarns or like an FO on Ravelry, I'd just be like, what's that yarn? Because it just there's something really beautiful about her yarns. So I'm very happy to be making this, and I wanted to use this before my next birthday so that it's not, just languishing.
Leftover birthday yarn.
Yeah. So I've got 2 skeins of this, and my idea is to make, kind of a stole type thing out of it. So hopefully next time I'm on, this will be a good way done. So that's it as far as whips go.
See?
Yeah.
I can come back now.
You can come back now.
Well, I was leaning away.
And the next section is all Selma, because I don't have any stitch talk.
Really?
I didn't end up finishing my bag.
What were you making?
The one with the keys.
Right. So she'll show that next time.
Shall I just hand over the
Do you want to hand over me that pile?
Yes, wait till I...
So I've been quite productive as far as the sewing goes.
She has.
It's all about the bags.
Sorry. I'm on a decrease row, so give me a sec here.
She's almost finished, so we'll just wait.
There's a pile.
I also brought a couple
It's
of
a heavy
books to
pile.
show.
I'll move my stuff off the table. Here you go.
So the first thing I did, and I realized it's gotten a little dirty, was I made a bag for my daughter out of the
look at
Muddy
you.
Mecca fabric that my aunt brought for me. This is a pattern called the Fold Over Bag by Noodlehead. Noodlehead has a website, a blog, which is a fantastic blog, and her stuff is so beautiful. She also has a book that I think, did we show it last time or the time before? What was it called? Anyway, I don't know, but her name is Jeepers Creepers. Anna Graham, I think. And Noodlehead is the website. So this is her fold over bag, and I just used a pink lining, and I actually put a pocket in there. And so this was an interesting challenge for me because I had to do this piping along here, and I made a mistake, and I put where it joined, I put it on the right side rather than on the wrong side yesterday when I finally sewed on this little tab here. And then I had to use grommets for the first time. So that was an interesting challenge, but they worked out fine. So now my daughter's got a little bag that she can wear like that. It's a bit short for me, but it's longer for her because she's small, although I probably could have made it longer. So there you go. I'm pretty proud of myself.
That's kind of amazing.
It's cute, eh?
Overachiever.
I'll take
She
it
wouldn't.
this time.
She wouldn't be Selma if she wasn't an overachiever.
So I have tons of this Muddy Mecca fabric, so I think I'm going to make some wedge bags with it as well.
Or you could also make yourself a larger matching bag.
I could. I had to do the...
I'm a troublemaker.
It was interesting because unlike the drawstring bags where you're sewing the lining fabric to the outside fabric and then there's this whole sort of inside-outy thing that happens, here you made the inside separately and then you placed it inside and then you sewed this around,
Yeah.
whatever you call this, well, kind of like bias thing happening, together. But I realized I had made my interior bag smaller, and so there was no way that I was going to be able to put this around. It was just going to be kind of weird and bunchy. So I had to make it again. But anyway, so this ended up taking me a little longer, and then the grommets intimidated me. So, as grommets, with that kind of name, they should intimidate you. Sounds like a little monster.
He's a little dog.
Little monster.
No, he's a dog. Well,
So
so
anyway.
grommet.
There you go. I'm very happy, and I think my daughter's actually going to use it.
I would.
And then I made some project bags, more project bags. I have been kind of toying. You might have seen on Instagram, if you happen to be on there, I am toying with the idea of maybe selling bags.
She'll do it. Then she'll start spinning. I'm not letting go of the spinning.
So I made this bag, which has flowers on it, and there's actually flowers on the white fabric, which you can't see, and it's got like an orange interior. And this bag actually has a couple of mistakes on it, so it's actually going to be a gift.
Oh, nice.
I wouldn't be able to sell it. Although I really like this bag a lot, and I was kind of like, oh.
I love the way you do the drawstrings.
Thank you.
I
It's
find
with the
that
fabric.
they're a lot more substantial. I like them.
Yeah. And then I made another one
Oh, that one's super pretty.
that has children playing on it. It's got this green fabric and then an orange actually Cafe Facet fabric on the inside.
That is very tame for Cafe Facet.
It is very tame. And that's another one.
It's really pretty.
So
I inspected them. They're flawless.
and then this one, which is a mermaid bag.
You normally wouldn't think orange and brown for mermaids, but that's really pretty.
Yeah. And then I did there's sort of a white polka dotted fabric on the inside. And then I found this other fabric that is orange, but it has octopuses or are they octopi?
They're octopuses. Because the correct plural would be octopodes.
Okay. There was
a whole discussion about this on LSG last week.
Seahorses. Anyway, so that is another bag. So these are the types of bags that would probably go in the shop if I end up actually doing it.
You need to do it. It'll feed your fabric addiction if nothing else.
Yeah, well, there is already a fabric addiction. That's why I'm not thinking about knitting them, because I'm thinking about fabrics and sewing it.
Yes, but this would help finance your fabric addiction.
It would.
Just saying.
So I don't know. If you happen to be interested, let me know. But that's what I'm toying with the idea. I'm thinking about if I open a shop, what kinds of name.
You already have a name.
I'm not 100% sold on my name.
Oh, okay. We'll have to talk some more about it.
So I'm thinking about the name Serene Creek Designs. And there's a reason behind that. Because my full name is Selma Ingesulu, which is a Turkish name, because I'm half Turkish. My mom's from Finland and my dad's from Turkey. And my dad was an architect and moved to Finland to work, and then met my mom, and there you go. Then along came Selma. But Selma is a derivative of salam and shalom, which means peace. So Selma essentially means peace or serenity. And my last name, Ingesulu, means little creek. Su in Turkish is water, and ince means thin, so it's like thin water. So I was like, well, my name means serene little creek, and so that's an idea.
Look at you.
That I might call it Serene Creek, but
it suits you too.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh.
I think it suits you.
All right. So that might end up being my Etsy shop. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but that's the thoughts. A couple of other little sewing things. I bought a couple of patterns to make something for my daughter. I got this one on sale somewhere. A cute little dress with ties on it.
Little sundress.
She didn't like it at all.
Really?
Yeah. I thought, how can you not like that? I'd like that.
If she doesn't want you to sew that, I will buy that pattern from you.
Well, I might end up making it for somebody else or something like that. Or, I mean, if you want to make it, let me know. And then I got this trio of patterns by Anna Maria.
Oh, those are so cute.
It's not a trio. It's a quartet of patterns. There is a skirt, a tank top, a jacket, and a pair of pants here for kids.
The jacket's adorable.
So I don't know if you can see, because I can't see what I'm doing. Right there, she's got kind of a leopard print tank top. When my daughter saw that, I was like, what do you think of that? It's okay, she says with her hand. And I'm like, lady. So anyway, I am going to...
That's probably, it could just be the fabric she wasn't crazy about.
Well, she would love leopard. So I showed her the one on the back rather than the one on the front, because I thought there's more chance that she's going to like that. I had bought at the sale this sort of, remember the turquoisey fabric with the very Hawaiian-like fabric?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do. I want to make her a top out of that, because she likes that fabric. That got a thumbs up. And then I showed her this skirt, and she didn't instinctively like it, but I have a feeling that if I made it in some cool fabric, she would, because I think it just looks really comfortable. It's a sort of a drawstring waist with...
It's kind of like house hunting. You can never let yourself be turned off by paint colors or cabinet facings or things like that.
I could go on a whole tangent about that.
Because, you know, that's cosmetic and it's easily fixable.
Yes, because if I had gone on paint colors and decor, I would not have bought this house.
No, you got to get past that.
I was going to say, what you've painted it since then. To be honest, I'm not
This
sure I
was
would
my
trust their
son's
taste.
room, so
Yeah, orange and blue. You know what? Orange and blue was my favorite color combination. when I
It's
was
a bit
teenager.
bright for me.
So
I tend to like more subtle.
I have not ventured into clothing yet.
Yes.
So I
It's
thought
time.
it might be a good way to start with something small like that for a smaller person, rather than something.
And you know,
for me.
there are a lot of people who have children's clothing in their Etsy shops and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Just
Now
saying.
she's just putting some more ideas in there. Yep. And then there are a couple of books. Sewing books. Actually, there's one knitting book in here.
Oh,
Do you want to talk about this one?
that's a library book?
no,
No?
not really.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't made anything from it yet, but I plan to.
I think I need to
This
buy
is a
that
book that Jeanette, the bookish stitcher, mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Called Weekend Sewing, and I haven't actually really looked at it either, but what I have seen so far, I'm like, ooh, there's
Just what's on the back
really
cover.
great
I'm enjoying.
projects. So they're all sort of smaller projects, but everything from little tiny things to some clothing.
I like the skirt on the front cover too.
And if you're interested in bags at all, I am dying to make this one. This is a book that I got out of the library as well, and that bag just thrills me.
She will be buying handles at Rhinebeck.
I will be buying handles at Rhinebeck because the other book that I got out of the library that I'm really enjoying a lot is Amy Butler's Style Stitches, and it's all about bags. All kinds of bags, like little bags, big bags,
I didn't know anything
obnoxious
about
bags,
sewing patterns.
not so obnoxious bags, just all kinds of stuff. So, and then another book I got out of the library.
is going to be another good place to get handles and stuff.
Another one that I took out of the library, and I've taken it out a couple of times, which is why I'm mentioning it, is called Sock Yarn Shawls 2. They have a one as well. The one doesn't really speak to me, but this book has a lot of wonderful patterns, and
A lot of geometric and
it goes from patterns that are for 1 skein to 2 skeins to 3 skeins. So, a 1 skein pattern is something simple like that, which is actually the book. The reason I took this out of the library again is because I think I'm going to make that. It's a very,
I like
very
the one on the cover. It's
simple
amazing.
one. The one on the cover is a 2 skein one, and then there's, where was the 3 skein one that you really liked?
It's
It was
the
the
yellow
yellow
one.
one.
At the back.
This one is a 3 skein one that is just gorgeous as well. It's got different stitches on it. So that was a really fun book to get out of the library for like the 3rd time. So that's
Careful, if you take it up too many times, I might buy it for you.
it. That's right. That happened another little time, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
Sweet.
No, oh yes, there's stash. Okay.
Yeah. So, Canada Cal. We wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Did we now?
Yes, we did.
It's coming up. It's going to be starting July 1st. If you remember the premise, the idea is that you knit using Canadian yarns or Canadian patterns or a really Canadian theme. And so you can post for each of those things in what we'll have at that point is an FO thread. And so the idea is to promote
Canada
and all the talent that we have here. We've got other podcasters who are going to be joining us. We have a Canada Cal thread already,
chatter thread.
a chatter thread in the group, and in there you can have, there's a list. It's not complete because we just keep finding out about more and more and more, and people are kindly coming in there saying, oh, you haven't added this person yet, and so then we do. We've got a list of indie dyers and designers and the podcasters who are going to be joining in.
Yeah, and this morning I was watching Moira, who is knitting in stitches in PEI, and she mentioned it today.
Yeah.
She's so excited.
Yeah.
So.
And so feel free to join in whether you're Canadian or not.
You can still knit with Canadian yarns.
Yeah, because I'm sure even if you're across the world, you may have some Canadian stuff in there.
I mean,
and there are a lot of
everybody
designers
needs to
too.
experience Julie Astley and Juliana, and
Yeah.
everybody needs to experience these things. Ancient arts,
Yeah.
pirate yarns.
Yeah.
I felt so
Sweet
stupid.
fibers.
There is pirate yarns coming next weekend because I'm an idiot and I did not realize that she was Canadian, and I had her mail the yarn that she was sending us for a giveaway to Rob's house.
no! She's Canadian. To boot.
When Rob got the package, he's like, why am I getting a package from BC? And I'm like, I'm a moron. I had no idea she was Canadian. I'm very, very sorry.
Probably cost her less shipping.
So we should add her to the list
That's
if she's not on
possible,
the
too.
list.
I'm pretty sure she is.
She's the one who dyed the Pirates Love Rainbows colorway that we just oohed and awed about.
And the next time it's in her shop, it's mine.
Yeah.
Because I want it so badly.
It's really gorgeous. And yeah, so anyway, join us. It's going to be fun. A lot of people have put in saying, oh, I can't wait, I'm planning. There are some people who've offered coupon codes, so come in and check in.
There's a coupon code thread.
Yeah, so go ahead and check those out. And we'll be mentioning that to other podcasters too, so they have a chance to enjoy the goodness from those coupons. So I'm already starting to plan. Have you started planning what you're going to be knitting?
Somewhat, but I haven't nailed it down yet, so I need to do that.
Yeah, I was going to make the sea salt out of a sweater quantity of Julia Slain, but I have not been in a sweater making mood. But I'm working myself up to that. And we had also bought, what was it called? Log House Cabin?
Yes.
Yarns here in Ottawa, and that's going to become a shawl during the Cal for sure.
She's actually at the Lansdowne Farmers Market on weekends. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah. And so really local.
So local people, if you ever want to buy any of her yarn, you can arrange to meet her at the Farmers Market on Sundays to pick up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, and then there might be something else because I've got Crazy Dog yarns in my stash. I've got Juliana's fiber in my stash, and Riverside Studios, which I bought last week, but that's going to my exploration station, so we'll see when we start the exploration station. Anyway, looking forward to it. Anything else to say about the Canada Cal?
No, I don't think so.
We've also got our sock, the, what do you call it, brown bag sock club going on.
Yes.
Thank you.
God,
Thank
there
you.
have been some beautiful socks
Yeah,
posted.
lots of fine and dandies. Everybody's making fine and dandies. And the Hermione sock, it's like,
I think that's become the,
it's
the
like
really...
the go-to pattern.
Totally. I haven't made that yet. I don't know what planet I'm living on.
Easy.
That
I
and the
love
vanilla
it.
latte is very popular as well
I've
right
made
now.
2 Hermione socks, both out of bittersweet.
Really? She should be Canadian.
So.
She's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
anyway,
we'll take you, Tina, if you want to come on up.
Yeah, and we'll still knit with your yarns because they're gorgeous.
Well, that's if we can get them anymore. I've got a whole bunch in my stash, and I'm not sharing. Actually, I saw something really cool yesterday. I was poking around, and Biscuit and Compagnie has a new free pattern. So I was on their website.
Friday?
Yeah, I was on their website trying to get the free pattern, and this pops up,
It
up,
does that on
obviously.
her site.
And it says, Canadian customers, blah, 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 20% off because of the exchange rate. Her prices are in U.S., so it's
good for
basically
her.
she offers 20% off to all Canadian customers.
Good for her.
So go shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, I have to say, with the dollar the way it is, it's definitely limiting my shopping, which is not a
I
bad
know,
thing.
yeah.
So, anyway.
I don't even look at Etsy anymore because I'm like, window shopping when you have no money and you're not likely to have money anytime soon really sucks.
Yeah, don't
That's
torture yourself.
One of those things I can't get Rob to understand. He's like, well, we can just go look at stuff. And I'm like, there's no fun in that.
I want to buy.
He likes going and just looking at stuff. And,
although,
yeah, no.
speaking of purchasing or not purchasing and window shopping, maybe we need to talk about flashing the stash.
Yes, I think we do.
Mm-hmm.
I have no stash, so this is all them.
So this stash came to me by way of seeing Tanis Fiber Arts knit a shawl.
I saw that one on Instagram.
And she knitted out a caterpillar green yarn. So this is the shawl.
It's so beautiful. And is it her design?
No. It is the Playground Shawl by Justina Lorkowska.
Oh.
And when I saw that, caterpillar green's Canadian, by the way.
Oh, what do I recognize
Is
that
this going to turn
name?
into a drinking
So, no. That's her logo. And so, because she wanted to donate for the Canada Cal, she sent us this.
Did she?
Yes, she
That's
sent us
so
this,
cool.
which is her classic stripes. And it is merino twist fingering in 80/20, and it's 443 yards, and she said this is her most popular color right now.
Beautiful, which is
Them's
showers.
my colors.
April showers.
Yeah.
It's sort of like blue with kind of an olivey gray, a bit of
green and-
lilac and cream.
Those are my colors.
And what I like about her business cards is on the back, She has measurements.
And they're very thick business cards.
Very thick.
That's
Did
very
I
cool.
forget to do my...
And so because I wanted to knit that shawl, I got
did.
her to send me concrete and tulips.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's some
And-
orange in there.
Yeah, this is an MCN.
Wow. I like that shawl too.
Yeah,
It's
so-
I really like
And
that.
it's called shawl stripes because it makes the stripes for a shawl, and that's more of a sock yarn. That it's thick
So this is
Yeah,
a self-striping
they're-
that goes.
for a shawl.
Yeah, it's got the... She's the one who does the longer stripes as you go.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
And
Yeah,
I
very
had
cool.
first seen this yarn on the Knit Girls last year or the year
I
before.
saw it on Yarn Harlot's blog.
Yeah, so Caterpillar Green.
Very cool. And
And
thank you
awesome.
for the donation. We'll show you the prizes because we have had a lot of wonderful donations.
It's got to go down. It's no. It's got to go down. And it matches. Matchy. So nice.
Lots of wonderful prizes.
I don't steal prizes. Well, okay, I did once.
In the bag. Because, cat.
Yes,
She did try and get away with the bag this morning. And I'm like, really? Really? And that's the stash I have.
So, last time I was on, I had forgotten a piece of my stash or a part of my stash. So, I brought it today. First, this is the skein that I got from Skein that when these guys talked about Kristen sending us yarn last week. Thank you so much, Kristen. Such a lovely thing, and this is a wild pink and green.
When she saw it, she's like, ooh, that's a little brighter than I thought.
It's not coming out as bright on the camera for some
It's
reason.
very hard. It was hard to photograph.
There's this like really bright thing coming out of there.
If you want to switch for the speckle, I am not
I
averse
haven't
to
actually
trading.
seen the other one,
I
so
can-
maybe
I
I'll look
can
at them.
bring
But
it
I
next
really
time.
like this anyway. I think it would be great socks, really fun socks. And I have to say, this is the the top draw sock, and it's incredibly soft. I'm going to be starting, I think, after I finish my shawl, a pair of socks for my friend Paul, out of the wood smoke colorway that I bought in January. It arrived in January. And I can't wait to knit with it because it's just heavenly soft. So that's what I got last week. But it's already been 3 weeks since this stuff arrived, but I forgot it last time. And Sue showed hers. We bought some Bergère de France Gummy 50 from Love Knitting, which is a British online shop. So I got it in the prune colorway, like that. And I also got it in the Imprime Beige colorway, which is like that. And then I got this solid pink for heels and toes.
Contrast heel and toe, yeah. That's gonna go well together.
Or I haven't completely decided. I might just make it the whole sock. And then I have wanted to try blacker yarns for a long time. Whenever I see them, they just look like wonderfully rich yarns. So I ended up getting 4 skeins of this yarn, which is a Hebridean wool with mohair in their purple colorway, and it's actually a very, very dark, and it's coming along across there as blue, but it's actually more like a really dark
It's a hard color.
Yeah, that's
plum.
that's
It's a
the window.
very hard color to see, and it's a very interesting yarn because you usually think of mohair as being kind of lofty, and this is actually very tightly spun. They do not tell you how much mohair there is. Oh yes, it's 50-50. 50 wool, 50 mohair. But it's very tightly spun, so it's really much more like a regular wool. You can see a little bit of the mohair.
Not so much of the halo, yeah.
A bit less of a halo. So it's going to be interesting. And I bought enough to make a shawl. And I wasn't totally sure that this was actually the color for me, but it's making me think a lot of a friend of mine. And so I think I might end up making her something.
How many yards do you have?
So each ball has 120 yards.
Okay. That would make a good boneyard.
Yep. Or there's a shawl by Isolde Teague that came out recently that I can't remember the name of, and she has it knit in green. That's kind of got a scallopy thing going around. And
Oh, yes.
I
I've seen
really like
it's got
that.
a name that starts
Although-
with S.
that you're right, and I think it's some sort of Irish name.
Well, it would be.
Yeah.
Or Scottish.
So it might go towards that, or
That plum is
I
gorgeous.
might even make the
Or
oscilloscope
the
again.
prune, rather.
The prune, yeah, I really liked that. So, and you got the gorgeous yellow.
Yellow, green, and then the other one for Shawn.
Yeah. So that's it for stash.
Cool. So I keep forgetting to put coupon codes on the show notes.
So they're
bad.
handwritten.
I wrote
there.
it down so we wouldn't forget.
There is the Canada Cal coupons, so there is a thread for that. So go in there and check those out.
There are too many to mention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have our ongoing coupon codes. One is from Lisa from 6 Munchkin Stitching, 10% off, and the code is 2Tangled10 spelled out.
And we also have one from Bags by Awesome Granny. Neither one of these have expiry dates, by the way. They're ongoing coupon codes. And the Bags by Awesome Granny is also a 10% off coupon code, and it is the number 2TS10.
Yep.
We'll have them here somewhere. Maybe not on my boobs, but we'll have them down here somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I think that's it.
On my face.
Well, you had a podcast you wanted to mention.
No,
okay.
that's just to put in what the podcast that we mentioned during the show.
Oh, okay. I thought
So,
yeah, sorry.
got
The
them-
timestamp thing threw me because she has podcasts mentioned timestamp, and I thought that was the name of a podcast, but it's
No,
not because
sorry.
that's just where we put the timestamp.
That would be a good name for a podcast.
Never mind.
I'll be okay.
We've mentioned
We've mentioned Knitting Expat, Cat Lady Podcast, Canadian Knitter, and Bookish Stitcher.
and Moira.
Yes. And whoever...
Oh, right. She's written up
Yeah,
there.
knitting and
and
stitches.
stitches.
And whoever the person who did the podcaster swap thing was, which I've forgotten yet again.
Spicy Homemaker.
Yeah, her.
Did you say Moira's in PEI?
Yep.
Oh, Moira, I might be getting in touch with you. We
Summer
are planning a
plans.
trip out east this summer, but I have to say we're a little behind on everything and starting to panic about finding cottages and so forth. So
Yeah,
if anybody,
you're late to the game for that.
we are. If anybody happens to know of some nice rental cottages in New Brunswick or Prince Edward Island, I don't know if we're thinking of going to Nova Scotia. I really wanted to go to Nova Scotia to the Immigration Museum, but I don't know if that's going to end up happening. But yeah, we are looking for cottages for August. So let me know. PM me or get in touch with me on Instagram.
Or hey, if you have a basement, they can crash in.
Well, we will be 6 people, and we'd like to be by the water. We'll be going with the kids and with my husband's parents, my in-laws, because they'll be here from Uruguay at that time. So we thought we'd do a road trip with them.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it.
That's it.
Woo!
That's all.
Hey, I'm wearing shorts today. It's nice out.
There may be a teensy little snippet added on to the end because we have somebody coming over later. We'll see.
We'll see.
Oh, yeah. We'll
Let's
see.
see.
Yeah.
Because the girls are all like, what? You're not going to have them on the podcast? I'm like, there's no room on the couch.
Well, and yeah.
We might just add something. Anyway, have a good Saturday, everybody.
Bye.
Or
Bye.
Sunday or Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday
Yes.
or whatever.
Have an awesome week.
Bye. Take care.